Well, I'm back. It's been a busy month for me. I haven't really had time to put out any videos. I'll put out a video about what I've been doing and debt updates, things like that, in a couple of weeks. But in this video, I want to talk about the mirrors on my bike. I needed to do a little bit of bike maintenance, and one of the things that I've been wanting to do since I bought the bike pretty much is replace the mirrors. So this is a Burchda R5 Pro, and I love the bike. Most e-bikes don't even come with mirrors, but the mirrors that they sent with the bike just are not up to a great standard. So let me show you what the problem is and why I am replacing these mirrors. So this is what is behind me while I'm filming. So in the mirrors, you should see something like the white wall, some light switches, a hallway, something like that. So let's see what's actually in the mirrors. So I'm standing here with my arm on the grip. You can see in the right mirror, you can see my arm, and that's about it. It's covering up most of the mirror. Something's behind me, can't really tell what. In the left mirror, I actually moved everything over so I could put it further out than on the right. So it actually sticks out just a little bit past the end of the handlebars. And generally, when I'm riding, the mirrors end up looking like this or some other strange configuration because they're never adjusted properly. You just cannot keep these things in adjustment. So you can see right now, there's something green, which I think is a door somewhere. I think it might be my cabinets in the kitchen, but obviously not the hallway that I'm supposed to be seeing. So let me adjust these mirrors really quick, and I can show you what happens when you adjust them properly. Okay, so the mirrors are adjusted properly now. So let's see what we can see in the mirrors. So there are some things on my counter. I think there's the top of the olive oil bottle. So that's not too bad. You can see the edge of my arm, but it's not really blocking the mirror on the side because I do have the mirror far enough out. So that's not terrible. On the right side, things are adjusted properly. There's the ladder behind me up to my loft. That's good. Unfortunately, half the mirror is blocked by my arm. So the other thing that you might notice is that the view is very limited because these are flat mirrors. And with rear view mirrors, you don't really want a flat mirror. There's a reason why pretty much all modern car mirrors have a curve to them these days because the visibility is so much better. And you can see that this is a flat mirror, and you can make out a few things in this mirror, but it's really not a great picture of what's behind me. So let's take these off and I'll show you what I got. Removing the mirrors is as simple as taking out two bolts. And while I was at it, I decided to rearrange everything else on my handlebars, including the gear selector, the brake lever, and all the controls for the e-bike. So here in this box, we have the handlebar bike mirror by Briskmore. It's an HD wide view convex mirror, and it doesn't fit drop bars. So one of the things that I liked about it, at least online, is you can see this has a really long arm that sticks out quite a ways. So the mirror itself is past the end of the handlebars, which, as you can see with my old mirrors, is really kind of a necessity. But because this has a long arm, I can have my brake lever and all the controls for the e-bike in the normal position. I don't have to move things around. So that's the idea anyways. So let's pull these out and see what they look like. I have to say the packaging for a lot of these Chinese companies has really improved. This is actually a fairly high quality package. Both the box is in good shape and they come in these nice bags. I'm not sure what material this is, but it actually feels kind of good. So I can immediately see that you can see I entirely fit inside the mirror, both me and my phone. And so that's actually a good sign already. And these arms are really long. The mirror folds out like that. I'm not sure exactly which side this goes on. I think this is probably the left side and I need to rotate that bottom part, but looks like it should go on the bike, something like that. There we go. That's the configuration it's supposed to be. Before we put this on the bike, I want to compare it to the old ones though. Here you can see the difference in size between the old mirror here and the new mirror. So the mirror itself actually isn't that much larger. It's a little bit different shape, but because it is convex and has a little bit of a curve to it, you can actually already make out a whole lot more compared to this flat mirror. And the difference in length of the arm is just obvious. It's way longer. It's hinged on one side and there's a bolt on the other. According to the instructions, it fits a variety of diameters for handlebars. So there's an insert here that you can leave in or take out depending on the thickness of your handlebar. So it should be an easy, straightforward installation. Just bolt this thing straight on. So let's do that and we'll see what it looks like. Installing the mirrors was relatively simple. There are a number of items, especially that cell phone holder on the left-hand side, that I had to kind of work my way around to figure out how to get it all fitted in. But once I did that, it bolted right on. The right-hand mirror was a lot simpler to bolt on, but the spacer kept falling out, so it took me a few moments longer than it normally would. Once I was done bolting them on, it only took a few minutes to tighten up the other screws, and that got the mirrors more or less adjusted, and it looks pretty good. All right, there we have it installed. It does change the look of the bike a little bit. I don't know if it's any better or worse than the old ones, but it is what it is. More importantly, let's see if they actually function as mirrors now. So immediately I can tell there's a difference. I can see the kitchen in this mirror. I'll adjust it a little bit for the video here. So there we have it. There's my kitchen, everything behind me, and there's my ladder. And you can see just on the edge there's my light switch. There it is, my light switch. All right, so with my arm on the handlebar, it does block a little bit of the corner of the mirror here, as you can see, but for the most part, I can still see behind me with my arm on the handlebars. On the right side, it's a similar situation where my arm still does cover up a little bit of the mirror, but it's not that bad. As far as mounting goes, all these controls here are in the position that they're actually supposed to be in, and I just mounted the arm on the furthest out part of the handlebar before you get to all the controls. So everything is where it's supposed to be, and everything actually fits now. On this side, it's a similar situation where I am on the inside of the gear selector here, and it sticks out just a little bit past the end of the handlebars, which is exactly what I want. You can see it's the same on this side as well. It just sticks out a little bit past the end of the handlebars. And that way I can still get through doorways, but it does still give me a view behind me. So this is exactly what I was looking for. As far as adjustments go, so we have the screw that holds it onto the handlebar. I've never had any problems with that type of screw holding things on. There's a bolt that goes in here which adjusts the swing kind of this direction, and I tighten that down and it feels very tight. It doesn't feel like that's going to go anywhere. And this here holds into the ball joint. I did tighten this up just a little bit so it gives you a little bit of resistance when you're moving it, and it's not likely to slip out of place, I don't think. It feels much tighter than it did on my old mirrors, so I suspect the mirrors are actually going to stay in adjustment now. As far as vibration goes and resistance to it and having it affect your field of view, this convex mirror will always be better than a flat mirror. And it's for the same reason why you get a lot less shaking in this wide angle lens here as you do, say, in this zoom lens here, where the shaking really disrupts the image a lot. So even if this does vibrate a little bit more, which I don't think it will, it's much more solidly mounted, it's not going to affect your view, and it will actually be useful for looking behind you. And that's all there is to it. A lot nicer mirrors on my Burchda R5 Pro.